Okay, and hair too.
Yeah.
Come on now. I'm over here like living on a prayer. Oh, but you got that hair. Is that pink? My laptop, what you
Yeah.
call it, is saturation is a little messy. So oh my gosh,
Yeah,
but
so
you
it's like a pastel little pink, and there's some blonde in the bottom that I like hate.
come
I'm not gonna
on.
lie, but
Oh, not
it's mainly
okay.
pink. I
Mainly
don't
pink.
like I don't love this like hair type. It reminds me of this like silky like nighty dress that I have, and it's like this color,
Uh-huh.
and it was like a floor length thing, but I cut it to be like a mini dress,
Mm-hmm.
and I would like I would like cut up the rest of the fabric and like would put it in my hair, and then one day I was like looking at this and I was like, oh, this is exactly like that material. Like it's just
The hair,
it's
the
that
actual
pink satiny
hair.
dress. That's what
No.
it felt. Yeah, and so I was like, I don't love this like texture, so I'll probably order something else. It's
Mhm.
different being over here because like when I'm home in the States, like I can just go to like the beauty supply store and get exactly what I need.
Get
But over here
gone.
it's like a whole ordeal. But I do remember there's one beauty supply store in the city center here
Yeah. Has
that I
that
went
been
to
the one?
once.
It,
I haven't been to like I've just been ordering online, honestly.
sm-
Sorry.
well, smart, but like
Yeah.
also you
Anyone.
said that's not the quality hair that you so desire. So it's like,
Yeah.
what the heck are you
I'm not
up
sure.
to?
Right. Exactly. I'm not sure if I probably if I like if the shop is open in the city center, I'll go there. But it's just,
Hmm.
is it open? Lots of places did not survive this pandemic, which is very, very sad.
That's hard to hear because I be feeling like everything still low key be open over here. I'm just like,
I think that's what it is. Like businesses like and most of the businesses in the States like opened up pretty soon, so they've been able to like ride the wave a little bit. But I
mm-hmm,
think like so I was talking to Peter the other day, and he's still going, I can't remember the name of it, but he's still going to art school
mm.
based in London, but like,
Oh,
stuck in Italy for the time being.
ski.
And oh, that's why, yeah, because he's actually coming back to England in September, because he was like, I have to be on campus, so he's gonna be in London in September, so
That's
very
lit.
exciting. But yeah, so he'll be back in London in September, which is great. But he was saying that he did his whole last year online,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, everybody he's in class with is people who should have gone to London, but for various reasons obviously got stuck in whatever home countries.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was like, there's people from China who are up like super late because they have to be in class. There's people like from America, so it's, and like, he's from Italy. And
Yeah.
so he was saying that for the few people who did remain in London, they were saying how it's just like a shell of a city because so many international students aren't there. And like, I think the city, like, obviously there's like the like larger financial and like business areas, but he
Mm-hmm.
was like, a lot of the city's made up of like, small neighborhoods and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
and like little shops. And he was like, a lot of that stuff didn't survive the pandemic because they were like, I think the lockdown was more rigid in some cases over
Mm-hmm.
here. So but
Mm.
so yeah, it's just, yeah, that's a bummer. But
No,
yeah.
Boris. I don't know what he doing over there. I remember literally coming to England. Like, who is Bush? I have no idea who this man is. Like, I
Really?
and
I
so
mean,
it's.
kind of the same. It was like, yeah,
I
which is,
still don't really.
I feel
Mhm. What you
I
feel?
see. I watched a little compilation of like some of his like antics. He's like a funny, like unintentionally funny person. It's really
Mhm.
yeah. So I get his videos and I recommend sometimes because he's just like there's this one video where he's at like a rugby match or something, and
Mhm.
it's like a little like charity like optics thing. I don't know all the details, or like a kids like
That's what they say.
and he's like right, and
Mhm.
he's like barreling like down this field, and it's like a tiny little field because again it's like a photo op, and he like knocks into this like child, like this really small child, and like he goes into the ground, and he was
Sir,
like,
be
if you look up the
careful.
images, it's like this man with this like brute force like knocking down this
Oh
child,
my
and then the way
gosh.
he like gets up, it's like he starts to walk away, and then like the people around him are like, the kid, and he's like,
Like,
oh right, and
hold,
he's like checking on the
sorry.
kid.
I guess he would try to walk away to just brush it off as if it didn't happen. But it's
Exactly.
like, no, you got
Like it's on
collateral
the ground.
damage. Like,
Exactly.
you
You're
have
not
to go
alone
back.
in there.
No, not at all. Okay, Boris. So get it together. And yeah, I don't know what else he doing in regards to the
Yeah,
pandemic over
politics, I'm
there.
like, question mark. Yeah, I don't know.
Honestly, I
I Yeah, it should be my duty to be informed, but I'm
It
also
should.
like, I mean, it's like I think it's enough to where, because since I'm gonna be here, I do need to know some things and be
Mm,
aware of what's going on. So to
mhm.
that extent, yeah. But
You
I don't know. I feel okay
should
actually,
be
because I
more.
was gonna say I feel like a lot of people are very political, and a lot of people that I know are like radicalized,
Mhm.
etc.
True.
Um, but
Ready
I
for the
say a
moment?
lot, but I feel like there's just like probably a very small group of people who actually are in the way that like it looks like
Mm.
on social media. Because
Mhm.
a lot of people look like they're very politically active, but I feel like when you like crack at it, it's like okay,
They
you're not,
talking
but
that
that's okay.
talk. They're not walking that
Exactly.
walk. But yeah, politics. The
Politics.
thing is, I feel like I used to be really into it, and I'm probably
Mm,
it was also like that, like whole like I don't know resurgence of like interest in politics, like in regards
yeah.
to the recent elections over here and everything, and just trying to see who would win it. But after that, no, honestly, during that whole process, by the time it got down to the last two, Biden and Trump, I was
Yeah.
just like, okay, like I guess it is what it is already. Like whatever, like me being more or less informed about what they may or may not be bringing to the table, it's not really going to change the game right
Mm.
now. Like it's already like okay, implemented. But I don't know. I think going forward, I guess I would like to like participate some more. I guess just really trying to work in some type of efforts to continue community and people change and like fighting for
Mm.
the people. It's so interesting because it's like, we vote people into like politics, into these positions and stuff. And then like technically they become like the government, which is like the
Yeah.
like people make it such a big what is it called? Like gap or like it's such a big I don't know how to describe it, a big thing
We're
with
almost there. We're almost there.
it's, let's just say schism. I don't know, but that's not it.
Okay.
Like
Is
it's a
schism like a
big
separation or like a what
yeah.
is schism? Okay, okay.
Like a separation of like between the people and like the government and stuff, especially
Mm.
like on the conservative side, they very like I don't trust the government, da 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 da, and then
I
okay,
feel like
that
on
makes
all
sense.
sides. I feel because even like aside from like I guess like very specific social stuff
Mm-hmm.
like abortion and
They be wilding.
maybe like stances on war sometimes
Facts.
and like the government's role, a lot of liberals and conservatives are just like really similar like outside of like that type of stuff if
Low
and I
key.
guess like just identity politics as a whole, like that's just like not their vibe it seems for the most part.
It's really not.
It
They
yeah, it
don't
really isn't.
be because it's like we could all learn from each other, especially if we don't. Oh my gosh, which reminds me of this like show that I'm watching called Married at First Sight. I'm not sure if anybody tunes in or listens to it, but it's pretty much what it says that it is. People get married at first sight, like get married at the altar pretty much. And
So
like
do
they
they
see
chat
it,
online or something
they
beforehand?
do
Like,
nothing beforehand.
so
They
they just show
meet,
up and get married?
show up,
I mean, that's
get
my kind of,
married.
it's like a game show. Is there a prize if they
Is
like don't divorce? Or
I
if,
be married for life.
oh, that's the
But yeah.
prize?
Yeah.
Mm,
It's very
mm.
experimental and it's like on like season, I don't know, like 14, 15 or whatever right now. But
Wow.
pretty much it's this couple that came up on the latest season and they're not telling you exactly what their political affiliations are, but from what we hear and stuff, like
Mm,
the girl, she's really like her family came from a very like conservative Republican background, whatever. And but she's like really liberal and stuff. Like, she says like that's where I came from and stuff. That was like my roots and stuff. But I'm obviously like the black sheep in my family in terms of like my ideologies and everything. The person she gets married with is like this hardcore conservative like man who's like very traditional and like how he think is about to run. He's like this
wow.
Air Force pilot or whatever. Like he used to be in the Air Force, I think, but he's like now is a commercial pilot or whatever. But he's like, yeah, I'm like want to make sure that like I have kids before this age, and like if she don't want to have kids before this age, then I'm done. Like, and the thing about his like occupation and stuff is like he's gone like half like every week for the rest of his life, he says, pretty much. And like he just wanted her to be like at home taking care of the kids by herself, like doing all this like kind of traditional gender norm work and stuff. And he be having like really hard limits and ultimatums that like he be putting on her. But that's besides the point of their like political affiliation, which is like one of their main like causes of conflict, because he said he's not willing to budge at all. Like no give, no nothing, no, like he's not willing to open his mind to like things such as identity politics, which is I think a really important thing that liberals or the left really center a lot of their politics on, which is identity politics, which are important. Like, although it might not seem to have like the effect on society as like, you know, the economy and like money talks and all that jazz and stuff, like it's really important because we see how it trickles into people's feelings, into their behavior. It like you know, also like supports certain like anti like other people behavior, like misogynistic behavior or like xenophobia and stuff like that, when people are not being checked on like how they treating people based on different identities and backgrounds and stuff like that. So it's like it's layers to why we need it all, but like people can just be so stuck in their ways. My fault, go ahead.
No, you're totally fine. Because I interrupted, but because I feel like just like everybody probably in our age range in like 2016 was like really like when our political like, you know, focus was awakened. I don't know that, because that was like the year. Did you vote in 2016?
If I'm not mistaken, I think I was 18. I think
because I was 19. I think I'm like a year older than you. Okay. So like I think like we were voting for the first time, so everybody was like more aware. It was a really important election, and I feel like my like first couple of years into college, and especially with like Atlanta being such a like liberal, like very artistic, you know, city, which I'm like so grateful to have like that been my introduction into like college and like out of the suburbs for the first time. But like I think for sure like the focus on identity politics like as like a like like just like as a political, you know, focus, because that's like really what was at stake, I feel like, for a lot of people in that election. But it just really felt like, just personality wise, like that was like a common like a facet that people like really like put forward like in themselves as a person, if that makes sense. So I feel like that was like the first time in my life where like, because I know like being like the, you know, not growing up in like a super diverse suburb, it's like always feeling like the black, you know, the black girl or whatever. But obviously like in Atlanta, like at the school I went to, it didn't feel like that, because like so many people were, so I was just like one of, you know, like a thousands. But it was like, you know, your sexual orientation or your gender identity and like all that stuff like really became like a forefront of like your personality as well. And I think so just it was the first time I was hearing people like always sort of talk about stuff like that. And I guess it was the courses I was taking, because I minored in WGSS, which I don't know, like for whatever reasons I'm like I could have done something else, but I'm really glad I had it, because it was a great experience. But truly. But so I just feel like identity politics really is just like at the forefront of like a lot of the conversation that I would have. And so coming to England was like a bit refreshing, because it was like a break from that in some aspects, but like obviously like not as much, because I think it's just like on the world stage now, like it's really something that we dive into beyond America, I think. But I think because, you know, like my whole thing that I'm always on is I feel like with a lot of like, because sure, like it is important, like I guess like all the ramifications and like the way society might treat you based on like some of those things, like your gender identity, you know, race, etc. So it is important to like be aware of that and like obviously have the conversations. But I think, because I say this a lot too, and like, or like I say it to like certain people, but I'm like, I feel like, because
speak your truth.
Yeah, I'm just like, like where do I pulling so many threads. But like when I was like a freshman in college, I just remember being like, so like even before college, in high school, just like super like I started reading Angela Davis and like learning about the Black Panthers and got like very like politically charged and like that way, like in like, you know, like a really radical way, and like that sort of continued into college. But then I think a part of that education and a lot of like interpersonal experiences with some of the people, and like even like more growth now, like I think of the last year, like politically, like it's like blossomed like a different way than it ever had before. But it just feels like I'm at a point where I like when I talk about how like rough things are and like how, you know, tensions with race and stuff like that, that like frustrates me. And then I think about like my grandma, like one generation ago, like literally going to school like in the segregated South in Mississippi, like in the country. And I'm like, things are very like different for me. And so I'm like, and it's like, that doesn't diminish my struggles, that doesn't diminish anybody's struggles, like they're all valid. But it just does seem, I think, because for myself personally, I have a tendency to like over dramatize. And so when I can like ground myself and remember that like, I don't know, just like it's like a way for me like to like remain like humble within myself, because I will easily turn any little problem into like a huge thing. But then I'm like, I have it so much better than like so many other people who came before me. So like just take a breather and like appreciate like the moment that you're in. And I wish that was like universal, because I feel like if everybody like we're able to stand on that ground, then we could like attack the real problems and get the class disparity like under control, because that does not discriminate. Like it doesn't matter what color, what size, anything that you are. This class inequality will get you in the end. And that's just where I want to like focus my efforts, because at the end of the day, like, you know, we're both minorities, we're both whatever, but you know, we're both not the elite, and we need to like topple that. I don't understand why that's not like the main, you know, because that's really like most of America's problems just come from like the inequality and like wage disparities and stuff, like crime, things like that. Like so much of that stuff is solved by literally just making sure that everybody has the money they need. And then like it's fine, because you're not motivated to do crime if you have everything you need. You can just worry about like, you know, your artistic like stuff, or you can like pursue like having the best family, or like
we need to look up when we looking at where the problem is coming from. It's not our neighbors, although our neighbors eventually, you know, if they go along and exploit the system, how all these other people who got to the top, then
which
they
is
gonna
the problem.
be It's like no,
trying to rope as many people as you can to be like, no,
we gotta check ourselves.
We
got to check ourselves, because like who else is going to? Obviously we let these people get to billions of dollars and stuff, because nobody was like, let's check them, or they didn't decide they needed to check themselves. And that's why the wealth inequality is disgusting and continuously increasing. Like and it shouldn't make it doesn't make any sense, actually.
It doesn't. And it hurts my feelings.
And even like, no offense, but Black rich people, or rich people of any like
there you go
background and color, and like y'all, no offense, y'all part of the problem too. And the thing is, society. Sorry,
no, you're good. You're good.
I'm like, society, I just still want to like, although, you know, they part of the problem and they not, no exception, still directing that energy up to the people who create the system, where it looks like that is where we should be headed toward. That should be our goal. Although we know that having the most money, like, although it's cool, but we know how exploitive it is to like trying to get $1 billion in this lifetime. So like, why are we not like going beyond that one goal to like be creative about all the different goals that, or things that we can create, or a community that we can like nurture, and it's just different layers to it. But this society, I do want to put the emphasis on the capitalistic society for giving us so much reason to desire like all this status, fame, money, power. Like it's
so
please,
I think because it's just like and I swear every generation is people like the system.
They
like,
do. It is true.
It's like youth and like questioning like whatever system. Like it's always, we're no exception to that.
War.
But like I showed Eric Paris is Burning the other day, and
Mm.
it was so it was like the first
Have
time
I
you ever
seen
saw
that?
it,
I'm not sure
and
if I've seen
it's
it.
like definitely watch it. I don't know if you have like a VPN like on your
Oh,
computer,
I
but
don't.
you can like if you can access like BBC iPlayer, like try and do
Mm.
that because they
Okay,
have so much stuff on there.
that's gonna
But
get that.
anyway, so and also like British Netflix has like all of Drag Race, so
British
if you ever want
Netflix.
to like, but
Okay, tap
yeah,
in.
so we watched Paris is Burning, and like he was pointing out how for a lot of the subjects or like well yeah for a lot of them the question of like fame and wealth and notoriety and fortune sort of like came up a lot, and so did like people expressing the desire to attain like I can't directly quote it, but there was like a couple of people who'd be like, oh, I just want to be like living in the suburbs and have like a family and a husband and like the big house, and like it was this very like
I want that
white
too. But
America, like nuclear
sheesh.
family dream that
Yes.
we were selling in like the 50s
Mm-hmm.
and 60s is like what, and this was like the late 80s with this like queer underground subculture, and they're expressing the desire for that. And
Mm.
it's like Eric was like, oh, it's so like sad that like even though it's like they're like so different than like the mainstream society, like at the
But
root like they're just like
still
wanting
want.
these like mainstream society like things, but like they already exist outside of that, and it's like so much more interesting, but like we're still sold that. And like I think
Soda
because
in that
on
type
one
of
hand like
box. Mm-hmm.
on one hand it's like exactly in that like specific box, because like you can
Yeah.
have all that
We
but
want
just like
love. We want
live like outside
security.
of
We
like
want to
that
settle.
binary or
Mm-hmm.
yeah
Yeah.
exactly,
We want
because
all of
it's
that,
like
but we don't need it to look like that. And we don't have more representation on
exactly
how it can look otherwise. So, like, especially, I
mm-hmm.
feel like, yes, queer people are just so, like, dynamic and, like, how they choose to express themselves. Even like, for example, Lil Nas. I'm not sure if you've seen his
Yes,
video.
I saw that video. Yes, I saw it. I stopped what I was doing and I was like, let me go watch this.
He
London. And
said,
I'm glad you brought it up because I need to go watch it again. Oh
me
my
too. I
god.
seen it the
It
one
like
time.
warmed my heart so much. I was like, I wish every like queer person could be like feeling and like loving
Express
them and expressing
yourself
themselves.
and
I've
knowing
never
that it's
seen
no
stuff like that
parameters.
before, and it's
Like
just exactly I've like it's so groundbreaking. I'm like I've never seen anything like this before, and I'm like so
revolutionary.
glad that he gets to just like live in that space.
Express
Oh, just like
yourself.
that's incredible.
And also like the whole idea of that as well, like reclaiming what like other people have put onto you and stuff. A lot of people was like, doing
Yes.
their going like analysis in the comments, and I just had to
Yeah.
read it. But they were like, like so many people tell him and other like queer people, gay people, trans people, people across the spectrum, like to go to HE double hockey sticks pretty much. Like that's
Yeah.
where you're
Or that
going
they're
because of who
going.
you are
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And people were saying like, he just owned that. Like, okay, if that's where I'm going, then
Yeah.
I'm gonna make it what I wanted to make it, because you obviously saying that
Yeah.
just because my personhood is like this, that I'm doomed to this place. If that's the case, then we're gonna party it up because
Exactly. It's
you.
beautiful.
And it's like they be trying to, it's just in the grand scheme of things, people will try to like other you or put you in the box based on their own projections and their own way of like how it's supposed to go and how it's supposed to look.
Mm-hmm.
But I think also just like going forward and like tackling all these problems and stuff is really just like, a growing of unconditional love, I think, is like part of it, where it's like just because they not doing it the way that you like I would prefer or
Mm.
whatever and stuff, as long as it's not the thing. Okay, because it was also like devil's advocate in terms of the video, people like, what about the kids and stuff? The thing is, okay, watch your kids. You should be watching what your
Kids.
kids watch first off and just
Also,
monitoring that.
yeah, it's nobody else's responsibility but like
Not at
you.
all.
So like,
And the thing is,
it's
inform your
yours.
kid on like the context of what this video means and
Yes,
stuff. Like, and it's a lot of
exactly. Yeah.
discourse going on in the comments if you want to, get some ideas of what it could potentially be about. But making sure your kids are informed about like these influences and stuff. But I mean, and just
It
being
just
able
makes
to
them a
see it,
better like because I
critical
wish that like when I was a
thinker.
kid, I was having like these sort of the conversations about I'm so annoying, but like pop culture, like with my mom. I mean, we did like to some extent, but like not in the way that like I would want to
Get
like the
into
fullest
it.
extent.
Get
So like
into
I'm always gonna. My kids are gonna be like, "Mom, why are you still talking about Lindsay Lohan? Like, talk about something else."
I
I'm gonna be
can't
like,
stop
"No."
talking about an icon. So y'all better get your books out and start taking notes
Exactly.
because we have a pop quiz
Exactly.
tomorrow. Like they gotta get hit because we just don't. I think just the generations going forward, when anybody does decide to have kids, I think we just understand and are starting to understand or really cementing our understanding in like being open and like
Mm-hmm.
sharing our like learnings or just sharing knowledge and remaining curious and appeasing to like especially the children's curiosity and stuff because back in the day children used to be like don't be seen, don't be heard, like
Yeah,
don't go
you're meant
to
to be seen, not heard. I think that's
oh,
what my mom or
yes,
some people would
exactly.
say. And I was like, "Can you acknowledge my existence? Like,
Please,
I
I
have agency and thoughts."
and it can even like root all the way down to like lack of acknowledgement of like feelings and stuff like, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
no, like I feel this type of way, but then they be like no, you don't feel that type of way, you a child, and it's like huh, like I don't like you now because
Very,
I'm going through a
very
lot, but
destructive.
in the grand
I
scheme of
really
things, just
hope,
breaking
yeah,
those
like that's the
generational
one
curses,
thing.
huh?
Exactly, exactly. It just gets better and better. And that's why like I'm always cutting my mom slack and stuff and like cutting myself some slack when I'm like, why is this thing like not, and I'm like, calm down. Like, but then I don't know, sometimes like I think about I hate it. I'm like, oh my god, I think about having kids. But no, but I'm just like, oh, like it's just like fun to have like a buddy and like just to be able to like chat about this stuff.
That
I
would be
say that, but then I'm like, oh, like it would suck if they had like no interest at all and like the stuff I was interested in. And I'm like, I just don't like them. Like then what? I don't know. Because it's too late then.
that is a
Like, what
fan.
if
What
your
if we
kids suck?
awkward? I'm like, oh no. I'm
Like, I
like,
don't really know you. No.
I don't want that. I hope they come with some good energy, good
Exactly.
vibes. Oh my gosh, I would be really, I don't really desire too much to have kids. Yo, I was even watching Shan Booty. Do you know her off of
She
YouTube?
the I think so. She
Sexologist
has
and
like those
stuff.
like big blue eyes or something, like
I
those
think
really big
so.
eyes.
Yeah,
Yeah. Did she just have a kid?
she just had a kid with her
Yeah.
partner and stuff. And I was
Wow.
watching I forgot what, oh yeah, it was just her and her partner talking about like their first argument after having their baby and stuff like that. But they was like in between of it, they were like talking about like just the like process of like having a baby and like labor
Mhm.
anxiety and stuff like that. And I was just like, those are just things that I think of often. And like even when they
Yeah.
were talking about it, like my body physically, it was just like rejecting the whole idea. Like
I
how
remember you
sometimes
told me
your
that once
body
before. Yeah. I was yeah. I was telling you about a dream I
stop.
had about like being pregnant and you were like, wow, that sounds horrible for me personally. Like the thought of like something being
Personally,
inside in my body. And I was
like I
like, true.
really think it's beautiful ultimately, but like, and even like I feel like I'm not sure if you get the same feelings, but I'm sure a lot of people with uteruses, like we kind of get like sometimes a baby fever feeling, or like we really
Mm-hmm.
like kind of have a mood where we like, oh, like having a baby would be really lovely, or
Mm-hmm.
like just like I don't know, even looking in the mirror at your stomach, you're like, oh, like that would be kind of it, but then I hear tales of like the realities of the process, and
Yeah.
I'm just like, hold up, wait a minute. Y'all thought I was finished? Cause like, oh my gosh. And I don't know, just saying all of that to say that I'm kind of scared about that process, and I've said it
Mm,
before. But I think adopting older kids would be lit,
yeah.
and just
Yeah.
like trying to know that, or like guaranteeing that they have like somewhere to like come back to, especially like as an older kid. For example, if you're in the system, adoption, foster care system and stuff, like you turn 17, then by 18, now you are a warden of the state. I think that's what the
Mm,
correct term would be. And like you just, are out here. You just gotta
yeah.
exist now. Like, and who do you go back to or refer back to and stuff like that? So, and it's just, older kids get severely under adopted compared to like
Mm-hmm.
younger, small babies, whatever the case may be. And so I just would love to just these different values and like value systems and stuff, like, or just showing up for them and unconditionally loving them and stuff, like just to try to break these generational curses of these people who, you know, we might feel like, oh, it's too late to like for them to change or too late for them to have hope or whatever, but it's like, no, like early childhood development is important and very integral, but people can change and people can like grow, and that's just that. So anyways, that's just my just me advocating for adoption, y'all. So y'all should
adopt some kids.
Please, if you have the resources, the time, the money, the space and everything, that's really what I'm waiting for. I mean, I'm not pressed, like I said, y'all, I'm not really pressed to have the kids all, but when it comes down to it and I am in a position to do that, like there's no reason why not, as long as they, you know what, I'm gonna try to, you know, chill, be like, don't try me now, because the older kids, they be getting them hormones in them and they think they grow. And I can't imagine. Okay, but you know what, it's layers to it. That's it.
Everybody is an onion. There's layers. That's depth and all that.
Even when they be like the toughest looking or toughest seeming person, it's just like that person is also experiencing this whole vivid human experience just like us, which leads me to ask, so do like psychopaths or like sociopaths, do they not like have an array of like emotions or like human experiences that they can react to that like seem stimulating? Like
honestly, I don't know. I think it's like the same. It's like probably like a range, like a on a spectrum, but maybe like in some cases, because I don't know. Do you know SBSK? It's like the YouTube channel. It's like this guy. He goes and he interviews people with like various like physical and like mental disabilities and stuff, and just sort of like chats with them, and sometimes like chats with their family members depending on like their abilities. But in one, I can't remember like his diagnoses, but he chat like with this guy who had like a narcissistic, like borderline, you know, like sort of like personality disorder, I think. And just the way that he explained his behavior and the behavior towards people, and you know, like what his relationships functioned like and stuff. It was just like really interesting because like I've never seen somebody be like so blatant about, because he'd be like he'd say like it's really, he has to really like go out of his way to like not like, depending on like the people, like he meeting new people, he like sort of scopes out like ways to like exploit and sort of like manipulate them. And he was like, and it just like really comes naturally, and it's like something that he like often does with people and stuff. And but it just, he wasn't like expressing like any like real like sympathy, or like there was like no air of like feeling apologetic about it, which I thought was like so interesting, because like for me, like it just feels like when you hear stuff like that, it's like, oh, like I don't know, he just was presenting it in like a really stoic manner, like yep, this is the person I am, and like that's just what it is. That's just so I was wondering, I mean, and I was like, I wonder how many people function like that but like don't have the like knowledge or like the self-awareness to like express that, if that makes sense. But or are they always aware of like what they're doing, or is it like an unconscious thing, like how, you know? And then I'm wondering like how like that factors into like other like sociopathy and stuff like that, because I don't really know how it like relates, if it does at all. I don't know. It's very, very interesting though.
Exactly. Everything get is on the spectrum and stuff for real. So
yeah.
All the power to him. I'm glad that he could be open and admit it. That's also another thing. Are they going to admit it to other people? Because they could be self-aware, but also that between the consciousness and subconscious and stuff. I mean, that's why like a lot of people be trying to do that shadow work and stuff, because trying to pick up on those
shadow work,
unconscious like habits that aren't serving you and stuff. So it's like, that is something I do. Let me switch it up. But obviously he don't care, so it's all good.
I saw a couple TikToks, and it's like what is it? What's like crystal? I can't remember what it's called.
A crystal?
Something I don't know. It's like been going around in the rounds, because like somebody, like a couple of videos about it have gone viral, but like I think it's supposed to be like in one of the videos this woman was saying that like it's like an attraction thing. So like when you use it, she was like the examples she were giving were like things like, okay, like you've been wanting to quit your job but like you haven't been able to, having this crystal will like, she's like, you'll get like laid off or something, and she's like, it'll like hurt but like, and she's like, the point of like this thing is that it like closes or opens doors that like need to, you know. And then I saw this other TikTok and it was like a lot of like new, you know, people like have been like new, you know, witches and like practicing and people and stuff like that have been getting into this crystal. And they were like, it's like an amplifier, so you need to be careful, and like you guys don't know how to use it, and like you guys are like destroying your lives and stuff. And I was like, what's going on? Like
in the crystal community,
like,
yeah, they
like,
getting
it's like, what in the world?
They getting real brazy over there in the crystal community. I can only imagine.
Yeah,
Honestly, but
I've never gotten into them. I remember because like again, like in Atlanta, like having friends and like going to like crystal shops and stuff, but I'd be like, I don't know, like
no, that's real. That is real. I think I'm trying to think where I even got my few pieces from. Like I think from a couple people. I think I probably ordered one off the World Wide Web, off my aunt's little crystal shop at the time. And honestly, they actually feel really like nice. Like I really enjoyed like, and really feel like I feel an energy that comes with it, and most notably like a groundedness when it comes to like holding on to them. I think it also could be like probably some like reflexology and stuff, like physiology. Definitely. In terms of like holding an object, like similar to a fidget spinner and stuff, if like you holding something in your hand and just kind of keeping your hand occupied with something. But I think, I mean, just in my head and stuff, and like, you know, using it as like an energetic like kind of thingamajig, it really does like feel really like powerful. And I think like I be just so anxious sometimes waking up, and I just go ahead and pick up like, okay, I got on this one, which is a rose quartz right now with the little chain, and like sometimes I pick this up, or my clear quartz over there, and I just hold on to it and just like kind of let that like energy just kind of rush through my like being. And it honestly really helps. And like sometimes like when I'm really anxious and I'm like I keep having like recurring thoughts or something, like it really helps to just kind of hold it or keep it near me or meditate while they're sitting on me and stuff, and like it just brings me down. So I recommend it to whoever feels like, you know, whoever like kind of physical things to kind of keep them where they want to be and where they need to be, and like kind of remind them of their intention going into the moment and stuff. I think really like holding on to the rose quartz or like the clear quartz, it just helps remind me that I want to go into like this moment and the next moment with like love and as much clearness and openness as I can like have, so I can receive in these moments and also be in a position to give back. But yeah, I think it just helps with intentions and stuff, most notably and stuff. So yeah, I recommend. I'm like, I should send you something, but you also over there, so stay tuned, because but I'm not sure like if there's a difference. Well, I'm sure, I don't know actually, because I'm not a scientist, but the difference in quality depending on like, you know, where you get it from and stuff like that, because I'm sure some people be paying that big dollar, and I have not paid no big dollar for no crystal. So I'm just like, you know, whatever works for you. I think just different things work for people. Some people like cards, like tarot cards or like oracle decks and stuff. Like
my mom does tarot cards.
Ooh, she better she know her future. She know her. I think those are really cool, and like just visual or kind of like intention setting, like things that you can use that's like in your face, because sometimes it be hard to remember up here. It be difficult to say the least. Like literally every day I be just thinking about how sometimes I forget like certain things that'll just make the day like easier, like reminding myself that I have the ability to choose, like I can trust myself, like I can believe in myself, like I can, like sometimes you be forgetting in the moments where you like, dang, like Dang. But then afterwards, you're like, okay, I can come back to those spaces and know that those are also true while also having had my human experience, whatever that may be. But yeah, that's all I got to say on the matter for real. For real. I just kind of was like, yes, so get into it, y'all. Ground. Get in line. Do your chakras, you know, all of that. Start with the crown chakra and end with the, let's just say, base chakra. Boom. And then, yeah.
Oh. I was doing yoga this morning. It was nice.
Did you do the full moon one?
No, I just did. Do you remember that I sent you like this channel, like Ariana Elizabeth?
Oh yeah.
And you know when you came to visit me in Atlanta, like I remember we like did some of her videos.
Oh
like,
yeah.
Once. Yeah. I really like her like style, I guess, like the way she moves and like some of the stretches. Like it's like a lot of stuff I've never done before, so it's like it feels really nice. But yeah, I was doing that today, and yesterday Eric recommended that I send Hien, my language partner in Vietnam, because we were chatting about like health and, you know, working out and stress and things like that. And then we do like a visual based part of our conversation where I look up photos and then I like share my screen and we like look at some photos and just talk about them. And so we were talking about or she brought up yoga like on her own, and then I was like, oh, because yoga's on my photos. And so we got into it, and she was like, you know, like, what kind of poses do you like? And I was telling her, and I was like asking like what hers were. But I sent her, or Eric recommended that I send her like some videos like in English so she can like, you know, keep practicing that way too. And I was like, perfect. Yeah.
That's love. Yes.
Yeah. And she's like, because she's like literally, she's like 40 and so sweet. Like our first meeting, I remembered I was like just telling her I was so excited to be able to like talk to her and like really grateful and that like I'd like to, you know, come and visit or like live in Vietnam one day. And she was like, you can come and visit me. And like she introduced me, she has like 3 kids, and she like introduced me to like I've met like all the kids now, but like that first time she introduced me to like one of them. It's just, she's so nice and like so
Vietnam about to be a vibe too,
right? I was like just adding it to the list, like why not just have more and more, you know. But she's so sweet, and I think she's an English teacher over there, so like that's why like we're working together. But yeah, it's just, yeah, she's really nice and so eager to learn, and it's just a really fun experience, and I'm like getting in those hours that I need, but like also just like making a friend. And like I love, like, it's just like having a pen pal, because we have these like sort of like loose guides and topics to focus on each week just to like stimulate the conversation. But it's like through that like we're able to like learn so much about each other.
That's
and just it's just really fun. It's like a pen pal or something.
That is really nice. Also just kind of having like a base thing y'all can like talk about and stuff too, because sometimes you be like but at least,
and it's like easy to like return to.
Yes, that's
like,
nice.
So anyway, like next on the list.
I love that. And y'all just like becoming friends like across the world, and like really teaching each other, or like, well, they're teaching you about their life and you teaching them what's really good with the English language, although we should be learning other languages, but that's all.
I definitely agree. I was like, I need to get back onto my like Polish grind.
Come on.
But and then like Spanish as well. Like I do like spurts of like language learning, and then I'm like, all right, bye. But I'm always like, yeah, I'm just gonna get back into it. But I think if I start to wake up earlier, because I wake up at like 10 now, which is like, it's kind of late.
It's like, a little later, but I understand 100%.
Exactly, yeah. So, but I'm like, if I woke up earlier, then I could like do more stuff. So I could do my language.
Even
like,
if I woke up early
of the day. I know. That's
what I'm doing what I want to do. It's not that I don't have the time.
Yeah. It's just some days you wake up, like I wake up and I'm like 100% like I'm doing these things today, and I do them. But that's not all the time. It's not even, I think it's like a lot of the time though, like most of the time.
That's so good though.
I feel bad when I just like don't do anything, so I try and like do stuff.
No, for real, I be feeling like I do stuff, but I also be forgetting to low-key give myself credit for doing stuff. So I be like, dang, I ain't do nothing today. But it be like, girl, you just edited this podcast and did that, and I'm like, okay, but that was just earlier. Like that wasn't nothing. Like, oh my god. But really, I remember you. I'm not sure if it was during that last episode of Wanderlusty. Make sure to tune in. But or if it was on the gram, but it was you were mentioning just like still the same idea of like being productive or like creating versus like being lax and like consuming and stuff. And
I think it was in that video that I made. I was talking about it in there, or probably I'm always talking about it, I guess. So
that was in the video. Also, y'all gotta make sure to follow Kim. What's your at on the YouTube?
It's Kimberly Almond.
And y'all better make sure to follow Kimberly Almond on YouTube. I really enjoyed your first video. It was, well, that's not your first, but like your longer like first video.
Yeah.
It was like so good. I was like, oh, this is so dreamy and like lovely.
I really wanted to, I had this like tone that I was trying to achieve, and I was like, okay, I felt like I executed that.
You bodied that. I was like, oh my gosh. It went from the vertical to the horizontal. You knew stuff was changing quick. Like you it was so good. I'm like, okay, love it. I forgot what point I was getting to actually.
What were we? Something, I don't know.
I will bring on one more point though. Your traveling reminded me of the point out of your video. It was the creating and consuming. Okay, boom. Okay.
Right.
But that's definitely something that I consistently am thinking about, especially because you know how this capitalistic system always make it out to seem like we have to be doing something. We have to be making money. We have to be productive. We got to be giving back. We got to be like working. We got to stay in action. But honestly, they want it for their benefits, not necessarily for the people, not necessarily for the individual to like, you know, feel a sense of productivity in themselves and like start building up that trust and like work ethic within themselves. No, it's for them so they don't pay their taxes but make us pay ours. Anyways, but like even with all of that in mind, like still when it comes to like solo, just trying to keep yourself on track and like really trying to do what you
want to,
pretty much
feel like called to.
That's the thing, because and how you mentioned that every like it's not the same every day, and I just wish we had the space and freedom to accept that it's not the same every day. Like
exactly.
It's just layers to it, because it's like having order is nice, and like having like routine and predictability is really nice and really neat and satisfying, but also just as human beings we are so sporadic when we are just ever changing, and I think just probably learning how to adapt to the changes as quick as possible would be a better learned skill than trying to fall in line with everything else. Like learning how to adapt and like get hit with the times would do us much more significant than, you know, like these, no offense, but these old white politicians, they still in 2008, but we're in 3008, and so it's like one or the other. But anyways, that's pretty much what I was getting into. Oh yeah, but going forward, our special guest who was on, I think, the 3rd episode of season 2, Taylor, she's actually coming up to DC today, she said. And I'm like, oh, how cool. But she's gonna be up here until April 12th. That's the goal, ideally.
For a while,
yeah, I know, for a good little minute, so that means I don't have to rush or anything. So I'm like, blessed, thank the Lord, because I was like, oh, she hit me with that text this morning. I said, oh, am I gonna have to try to make it to DC today? Like, I was like, okay, let me try to find the energy.
No, you got some time. That's so fun. DC is so great. Like, I mean, I say cute. That, and like I've only been as a tourist, so.
But it's pretty cute. I mean, it's definitely some area that, oh my gosh, it just be.
That's the thing. Every city has like areas that like I think probably mainstream society is like looking away from. Like pretending like isn't there.
I'd be like, yo, y'all can't ignore. Hold up, no, y'all not about to ignore this, because it's like now when the wealth disparities and stuff be like so apparent and stuff in certain places, I just be like it just makes me sick, because it's like, what the freak, like why is this $1 million whatever establishment, whatever. And then it's like, homeless people and like architecture that, you know how they be making like the benches and stuff, like not for homeless
Yes,
people
with
use.
like
So it's,
the thing in the middle so you can't
they
lie down, and
like
like that was like I remember in Atlanta, like when I started going to college, there's like a park, like a couple actually, yeah, like on campus we have like two main parks. I guess I can't really say campus because it's like a really like downtowny school. There's no
hmm
gates. We're just like left to the
the
sharks.
opening.
But two of the parks that were like in downtown, which is like where campus was, were like lots and lots of homeless people. And then like over the evolution of me being there, because I remember like there would be like just like a lot of them, and like I would go back. It was like on my way to in between class buildings, so I was, it was like an everyday like thing that I noticed. But then they like installed some of like that architecture, and so like there was like these like long like barrier things like around the park that people would like sit on, and they like put just like these like metal like things in the middle of them. Like I don't even know what they were, but like there's no function other than like to keep homeless people from sitting down there. And it was just so, first of all, because it was ugly, and B, I was like, it just gives the city a bit of flavor. Like you can't like take it away. And I mean, as far as, because I don't know anybody who like has ever suffered like any like I've never heard any story of like a homeless person doing anything to anyone. If anything, it's like the other way around.
Yeah.
But so I'm
Oh.
like, what was the harm? I mean, it just like I'm like an anxious person, so they could be anybody, and I'm like freaking out. But
Yeah.
like I don't know,
Exactly.
it's just like it just my day to day like walk. And I think also too, like when GSU would do their tours downtown, people would come with their families and stuff. And my tour like didn't go to the part where like you could see like the most, where you could like really see the city. They like really stayed like localized like in the classroom buildings. And I think some of the tours do that, and some of them like actually do sort of explore, but I think they try to like discourage like showing that on the tours, because I
They
don't
don't
know, they're
want you
just
to
like
be
trying to
hit.
like, yeah, and they want you to have this like very specific idea of like what the city will be, because there's a lot of people who go to that school who are from like who aren't from like the surrounding area, and so aren't like super familiar, or like don't go to Atlanta that often, I guess. But
They
and
not
like people from out of state, people, international students. I
mm.
remember like I met this guy when I was in, I don't know, I can't remember like what year, but he was from France, and he was just telling me how horrible his time was in Atlanta and how much he didn't like the city. And like he had another friend who was also from France who was like doing the study abroad, and yeah, they just weren't having a good time, and I felt so bad. I felt like personally, I was like, what can I do? But like,
Oh, you're kind.
but
It was just Atlanta.
yeah, it's just a lot of like weirdness about the city. But I don't know,
Yeah.
I sort of, I guess in the end, liked it. I just, one thing I dislike is the necessity of like needing a car to get around. Like this
Uh,
is not LA. Like why do I need a car to get from
they
place to
think we
place?
is lifestyle the rich and famous. Like incorrect. Start again. Like no, I also agree with here. I mean, you can kind of use the public transportation, but
Yeah,
at
like
what
Atlanta's
cost?
public transport is, I mean, it's like efficient for what it is, but like it's not like you can use that and like solely that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess you could, but I'm just like
If you
not like
really
I've like done the bus a couple times, but at heart, like I'm not a bus girl. I'll do a
go,
train, but like,
I love
so
a
it's that's the thing.
train.
Yeah, I love a
Choo choo.
train,
Let me
but
stop.
yeah.
Anyways, but yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Trains get just like so dreamy. You get into your like
Exactly. Yeah,
mode,
exactly.
put the earphones in. When I'm on the bus, I be feeling like somebody gonna steal my earphones out my ear and run away.
I've had so many like weird experiences on the, I mean, not like super super weird, but just like experiences on the bus where I'm like, this is why I don't like the bus.
Yes,
But
it be
I
a
remembered
little.
when I like the last summer before I did my study abroad, I lived in East Atlanta and I worked in downtown, and so I had to take a bus and then a train, or two trains I think actually, but it wasn't even like that far of a distance, but it was just like was it two trains? One. Yeah, two trains. Anyway, yeah, and the bus ride was always or not always, because I think a lot of times it was like sort of low key. It wasn't like tons of people on there. Sometimes they were though, and I like don't like sitting next to people.
Them
But I remember
kids.
once like this guy from New Orleans got on, and he like didn't know where he was going, or he was like looking for like some family or something, and he was like asking people on the bus like if they knew how to get to like wherever he was going. And it was like freaking me out, and I was like,
please don't
"Sir,
come
go away."
me. Oh,
And then he got mad because nobody was responding to him. And I was like, ask the bus driver.
like exactly.
Driving the bus, he knows where to go.
Don't come back here, please. No, I don't know where you're going. From New Orleans. No, son.
No,
The bus is an adventure. Definitely, especially
it's
with
an
like
adventure.
school kids. School kids scare me.
Oh my gosh. I don't. Yeah, especially when they have uniforms on. Though I kind of wish that I had like a uniform. It was like a little Gossip Girl moment or something.
Oh, I agree. I threw away my uniforms.
Oh, you did. Yeah, private school girl. How is that with your
Why
uniform?
did I do that? I actually, oh my gosh, because, well, this will come out. Whoever listens to it, it is what it is. Y'all just going to get the heads up the scoop. But I actually been wanting to do like a project in regards to like speaking on my experience at that school and stuff like that. But I wanted to also be like a clothing kind of project as well, in terms of like the uniform and stuff, and like, you know, really get into that space of like that environment. But I don't have no uniform because I threw them away, because I was like, I'm never gonna need this again. I'm done with that school. And it is what it is. But now I'm like, dang, okay. But it is this girl who works at, who goes to school at my old high school, who works at the 7-Eleven around the street. Probably some child labor laws involved, but we're not going to talk about it. But anyway, she worked there, and me and her was talking actually, and she was like, yeah, like, because I told her I wanted to interview her some time ago, but I would like to reach out to her and be like, girl, can you steal me a skirt from the Lost and Found or something? Because, like, I want to make this project, and I want to, like, fully do it. I love doing the most. So I don't want to just do it and, like, try to tell the story and tell my tale. Like, no, I want to bring y'all here.
That's so cool.
Me.
That sounds really exciting.
Stay tuned, because I need to get the uniform first, because I'm like, dang, I'm still trying to flesh out ideas and stuff. But also, I'm not gonna lie, we was cute in our little skirts, but we was ugly because in the winter we couldn't like just wear pants. We had to wear the skirts with sweatpants underneath, or
sweatpants,
like tights, or like
not even I like tights and like
tights. We could only wear green tights if I'm not mistaken. Green, like. It was weird. Like,
not even like sheer ones, because I love like sheer tights.
You know what? Let me think back, because perhaps, but I don't recall that. I don't remember no sheer tights, no black tights, none of that, because that would have been kind of cute in a vibe. I really love a pair of black tights.
Yeah.
No, we was ugly. We had big sweatpants underneath our skirts, sweats, and like it just was.
I saw a photo in Korea. Like apparently they do that over there too.
I'm sorry, kids in
Cross-cultural.
Korea. Yeah, we all deserve better. We deserve to just be able to wear the daggone sweats if we wanted to. I think by our senior year, they actually started adding in like more like inclusiveness in terms of like clothing policies and stuff, because a lot of people were coming out as non-binary or just felt uncomfortable in feminine clothing all the time. Like, so I remember by saying, I used to see them little chickadees walk around in just sweatpants or like a certain type of green pant, and I used to be like, hold up. I think by senior year, I think they implemented pants. But by senior year, we were like, we could get out of uniform, I think after probably spring break actually. So I don't know how I made it this far without noticing. But or I don't think I had any money to switch up my gear anyways. Like that was who I was living on a prayer, I tell you, in high school, because them uniforms was like $40 a skirt, like. And the little polo tops, okay, you can get the polo tops for relatively cheap. But I mean, we was broke. So that was just the way that went. But so by senior year, ain't nothing changing. Like when we get in now out of uniform after spring break, then we can really change it up. But even then, oh my gosh, this is just taking me back. It was not the best outfit choices all in all. I just was living on a prayer. But anyways, that was all of that on how I want that daggone uniform back. And I'm like, I just need somebody to go on the Lost and Found real quick for me. Just grab a skirt so I can finesse it for the video. And yeah, it's just amazing. Sorry,
that's so fun that you have that option. Yeah, of like, because it sounds like a cool concept so far.
Yes, I'm just loving like us beautiful Black creators just with these expansive minds and ideas and just letting it out there, doing it and just sharing it. And that was my tea right there. Thank y'all for listening. But
soapbox.
My soapbox.
Hold on, yeah, we need to each of us. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I was saying, yeah, each of us gets like our own soapbox segment. We sort of do that anyway when we do our monologues.
Who ready? I know I be just like so grateful when you be talking too, because I'm like, yes, please don't let me be here by myself. No, please speak your truth too.
Ooh, next week is gonna be interesting.
Ooh, everybody, thank y'all so much for tuning in. It's been great, and next week we're gonna have a very special guest, according to Kim. So get hip or get lost.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so I think it'll be a special time. Let's just we'll see.
Oh, a special time, and we're gonna say
time and special guests. All of our guests are special. No need to no need for me to,
including the best two guests, I must say. It's like, let me stop. But okay, Wanderlusty folks and listeners, please tune in next week, and we will see y'all very soon with some more traveling international Black girl, queer, everybody, creatives, everything. We got the vibes and a little, knowledge about politics as well. All right, but y'all see y'all soon.